Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Channel Shout Out Moses. I'm your host Moses, and today we're going to be reviewing Dragon Ball Super. Now you may be asking, Moses, didn't you already review Dragon Ball Super? Well, yes I did. It's here. Watch it here. But this video is going to be pretty different. While in my last Dragon Ball video, I gave a very broad, somewhat detailed review of the entire series as a whole. And while that was definitely my most divisive video, you guys definitely brought up some good points about things I may have neglected to talk about in that Super breakdown. So this video is my answer to all of those comments, and this is about how I'm going to fix that video essentially. What I'm going to do is I'm going to review all of Dragon Ball Super in a very detail-oriented manner. And while I won't go episode by episode, but I will go arc by arc, with this first one being the only exception. So I'm going to bundle the first 27 episodes into one video, mainly because these two arcs are from the movies. They're what most people have seen, and I just wanted to get that all in one video. And before we get started, guys, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button for more Dragon Ball and anime related content. Now, let's get started. Now, I don't want to start negative here, but the best way I can describe these first 4 episodes is, well, boring. Goten and Trunks play around for a lot of these first couple episodes, and you get to watch them go on these adventures and fighting monsters, and they run into Pilaf and his old crew. And while this is subjective, but who started Dragon Ball Super wanting to see all of this? I don't really think this is a good way to start off the show, especially being the first episode having no real plot development, except for the fact that you get a glimpse of Beerus. And speaking of Beerus, he's the best thing for these first few episodes. You get to see him really be a destroyer, really see why he has his title. In the movies, if you started the way I did, if you just watch the movies and go straight into the rest of Super, he's more of like a coach or a cheerleader for Goku and his friends. He doesn't really destroy much, but I did like this part of Super. He gave backstory and context to a character who needs that development if he's going to fit in with the other Z fighters. And at this point, Beerus has woken up from his 39-year-old sleep, saying that he had a premonition about fighting the Super Saiyan God. So he's off to search for a new Super Saiyan God while being distracted by a few side quests of finding some delicious food. And guys, I promise you, I didn't leave out anything. That is about the first 4 or 5 episodes in a nutshell. Just Beerus blowing up planets and looking for food, while entertaining, is not justifiable for about 4 episodes. A lot of it is other padding with Goten and Trunks, like I said, Krillin and Videl, just doing random stuff for the sake of being random. Doesn't really push the narrative. And now we're getting to some of the good stuff. Some of the stuff that we've been waiting to see. Goku fights Beerus for the first time, going all out all the way to Super Saiyan 3. And it's fun to watch. What was about 2 minutes in the movie becomes about a whole episode in the anime. And again, entertaining stuff. And we'll come to the elephant in the room, the artwork. Super was incredibly rushed by Toei Animation, and we are left with shots like this. Now, apparently, these shots have been fixed, but if you watch this show right out the gate, as it was airing, this is what you're left with, which is pretty unfortunate. But there's also a good amount of people that have only seen the Blu-ray rip, so I won't stay too much on the animation. I will just call a lot of it, especially this part, lazy, and sort of move on from here. But lazy or not, I was pretty entertained. Again, I can't stop talking about this. I really liked this gradual progression from Super Saiyan 1, 2, all the way up to 3 to fight Beerus, and then him being completely outclassed. I thought that this should have been episode 2. But moving forward, we see Beerus and Whis go to their next destination, Earth. You see, Beerus knows about Saiyans, and he's just been introduced to a Super Saiyan that took down Frieza. So who better than to know more about the Super Saiyan gods than their prince, Prince Vegeta. So Beerus goes to Earth with Whis to track him down, and he arrives at Bulma's party. And it's at this point Dragon Ball Z goes from action shonen to bad slice of life comedy. Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z have always had hints of levity to break up the strenuous action and a lot of the fighting scenes. But I've never seen them goof off for 2 straight episodes right before the world was about to be destroyed by a god. It turns into Vegeta trying not to piss off Beerus, which, I will admit, had some moments, and Oolong playing a game of rock, paper, scissors to distract them. And while this was funny for about 10 minutes, it wasn't funny for the next 30. The Z Fighters eventually start to fight Beerus, with the catalyst being Boo not wanting to share his food and Bulma somehow slapping Beerus. And as you expected, they get rocked. But it's okay. Goku shows up to the fray and has a pretty good idea. He summons Shenron and asks him how to summon a Super Saiyan God. And what luck, it only takes 5 Saiyans to simultaneously transfer their powers into another Saiyan, propelling him to a Super Saiyan God. And oh look, they have 5 Saiyans. But either way, we get what we finally came for. The fight between Goku, a Super Saiyan God level 1, and Beerus. And it's a pretty good fight, I like it. I did like the movie's fight better, but I'm not going to compare the two. Also, I like this part. And this part. And, okay, it's a good fight. Goku's funny. I like this. This fight seems to have taken up the whole budget of where the first half of the show lacked. While I do think the fight probably lasts a little too long, you really get to know a lot about Beerus in this fight. You see his mannerisms, you see him messing with Goku, playing with Goku, and in a way, forming a bond with Goku, and I like main characters that can do that. It's no surprise that Goku leaves an impression on most of the people he fights, but something about Goku in this fight, it felt more that he was fighting a friend than he was fighting a foe. And I suppose that's the point. This fight is really here to give Beerus a lot of development and a lot of growth in a really quick way, as well as to show what Super Saiyan God is capable of. And like I said, I don't want to keep comparing the movies and the show. However, I like the way the movie ended, with Beerus catching Goku as opposed to Goku just falling down. I feel it gave Beerus that little extra bit of character. I also like how the movie ended a bit better. Beerus gave a lot more exposition about what's to come in the other universes at the end of the movie. And I feel like that's a proper way to end this arc. There's a lot of mysterious things going on, and just when we think we know really what's to come, Beerus gives us more. And I think that would have been the right direction. But I digress. The way the anime decides to end the arc is still fine. It shows Beerus pretending to fall asleep. That way Whis can just take him home instead of destroying the Earth like he promised if he won against Goku. The next few episodes of the anime do not matter. Hercule does a lot of stuff, Bulma shows Whis a lot of food, and Pan is born. And yes, I understand I just undercut Pan's birth, but like I said, it really doesn't matter. In finding out that Whis was Beerus' teacher, we fast forward to Vegeta begging him to train him. Which was funny, I won't lie. I'm not sure it was a whole episode kind of funny, but it was funny. After finding out that Vegeta's been gone for months, Goku begs Whis to take him as well, and they eventually start training together. And I like this arc. This arc showed a different form of training than the other shown in DBZ. It's one of the only times in the series where they talk about strategy, power conservation, and all that stuff. But no. It was fun to watch Goku and Vegeta train that didn't just involve the hyperbolic time chamber and them punching each other for 5 episodes. And now we get to Resurrection F redone and remastered. And holy crap, this artwork is not, boy, it's not as bad as episode 5, but this is not okay. But again, this is because the animators were rushed. Toei rushed them. I don't know why they didn't show Dragon Ball Z some respect here, but this is what we're working with. One of Frieza's main henchmen pretty much steals the Dragon Balls from Earth and uses it to revive Frieza, wanting the Frieza Force revived. Once Frieza comes back, he has one thing on his mind, and that's revenge. But he still knows he won't be as strong as Goku, so he decides to train for the first time in his life. Immediately after he's done training, I want to say about 5 or 6 months, he goes straight to Earth to enact his revenge. He realizes that Goku isn't there and decides to toy with his friends for a little bit. He releases the entirety of the Frieza Force at them, and here is the catalyst for about 90% of my hate for Super. I touched on this on another video, and it's about power levels and disparities between them. 1, why is Roshi here? What does he actually have to offer? They can't just make him strong just to include him. But let's put that aside, because that's not even the biggest problem. Why aren't Frieza's guys dead in 2 seconds? Trunk took on about this many people and cut through them with ease like butter in like a scene. None of this makes any sense. And in the movie, this is actually done worse. Roshi takes on as many people as Piccolo and Gohan, and they all finish around the same time. What? And then they did my boy Gohan dirty. So forgive me, I'm going to use some math here for a second. Gohan went on break for fighting for 7 years after he beat Cell, but he could still go Super Saiyan 2. He wasn't as strong and it took him like a minute, but he could still go Super Saiyan 2 and he wasn't completely adverse to fighting. He even trained for the World Tournament in like a day. So it's been what, a year since Buu? Maybe 2 years since Buu? And look at him. He says he can't even go Super Saiyan anymore. What's happening? I hate this episode. I hate everything about this episode. This episode... And then the next thing happens here. Gohan gets blasted to death by Frieza in base form. And I get that he's stronger, but he's still in base form. Guys, come on. Then they try to reenact Piccolo saving Gohan and dying in this scene, which is the same thing as kind of reenacting Frieza almost killing Piccolo on the Okay, last one. I promise. I'm calm. I'm good. But what I actually did find interesting was that in this version, Piccolo died. I thought that he got shot with the blast, but I thought he was just unconscious. In the movie, that didn't even happen. And in the scene, they completely just wish him back to life. And they do it off screen. You only saw the movies, you would have no idea that Piccolo died again, which I didn't. So that was a very weird choice to me. After Bulma makes contact with Whis, Beerus, Goku, and Vegeta, they head to Earth immediately, with Beerus and Whis trailing 35 minutes behind them. So the first one up to fight Frieza is Goku. And, you know, remember all that praise I said about the Battle of the Gods fight with Goku fighting Beerus and how their budget was really good for that fight? It's like the exact opposite here. I was just bored. All I kept wanting to do was watch the movie to have the same context and have it over in 15 minutes. This fight lasts too long and not much really gets done. And it doesn't help that the artwork is getting worse. Holy what is happening? And in all that, I was kind of waiting to see how they animated the 1-inch punch that Goku did. And even though this fight is like 3 times longer, they took it out. I have nothing else to look forward to. So once it's clear that Goku's going to win the fight, Sorbet shoots Goku with a laser. Yes, a laser, I know, but you know, it's been a year, so I'm not going to talk about that. And then Vegeta steps in to take his place. And this fight is longer, which is nice, but this fight doesn't really do much for me. So Vegeta's about to kill Frieza. Frieza destroys the Earth to avoid being killed by him. Whis resets time back 3 minutes, and Goku goes for the finishing blow. The best thing I can say is that, as far as I can remember, I think the worst is over. The beginning arc, and in particular the Frieza arc, resets a lot of things that we already know as Dragon Ball fans to make sense in the world of Super and not in the overarching world of the Dragon Ball series. And a couple of other small nitpicks that I kind of left out from earlier, and that's this show's eagerness to exclude Goten, Trunks, and Buu from really anything in the series that matters. When Goku and Vegeta show up to fight Frieza, they tell Goten and Trunks to go home. And Goku, besides Piccolo who's dead, Gohan who is down, they are the strongest people there. You let them fight Buu. He killed Vegeta and you thought he killed Gohan. They can handle this. And Buu's just sleeping. Sleeping. Wonder where he's going to be for the next tournament. He's still sleeping. Okay, I got ahead of myself. I'll talk about that one later. But I don't know. This arc was okay if you put it in conjunction with the first 12 episodes. So, how interesting would it have been if you got to see Buu fight Frieza? I was curious. The whole reason for the anime being longer was to explore new ideas, not pad them. And earlier, when Gotenks gets there, his fusion wears off immediately. And I thought maybe they fused and it took 29 minutes to fly there. But then I remember DBZ telling me he can go around the Earth in like a minute. I don't get what's happening. Guys, I don't really have a good transition to the conclusion part of this video, so I'm just going to get to there. The best thing I can say about this whole experience is that it really got to let me zero in on the part about Dragon Ball Super that made me the most frustrated. While the Battle of the Gods portion had way too much padding, way too much side arcs, had nothing to do with the story, and didn't advance the plot in any way, I didn't think it was horrible. I liked Beerus and it expanded on Beerus. I think it did a good job of what it was set out to do. But the Frieza portion is nothing but retcons, missed opportunities, and padding. In the manga, they get through the Battle of the Gods portion in about 3 chapters, and I didn't miss anything. So it just kind of goes to show you what's really happening in the first 27 episodes of Super. But like I said earlier, I think the worst is behind us. I will be back with part 2 to review the next arc. Thanks again for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.
Keeping up with your training? Because it doesn't look like it.
No, not really. But don't worry, I can still go Super Saiyan when I need to, probably.